Hey everyone, welcome to the Everyday Leader podcast. Today we have an absolute treat for you. We sit down with Richie Norton. Richie is a best-selling author. He's written multiple books that have really influenced me and influenced millions of people at this point. And Richie helps you understand how you can challenge your thinking, challenge like what society has created as a norm, and it's really expansive, really mind-blowing. So tons of really good nuggets in this episode. Give it a listen. It'll be worth every minute of your time. And then go check out Richie's books and follow him on Instagram and or LinkedIn. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Everyday Leader podcast. Leadership is a choice. Join me, Matt, and my co-hosts Drew and Tate each episode as we break down how to lead powerfully in your family, team, and organization.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Everyday Leader podcast. Today, Drew and I are stoked to be with the one and truly only Richie Norton. Richie,
You're just excited that I have a pink background behind me. That's the only reason I'm here, is you want to see if this would actually happen.
Hey, the universe knows you're one in a billion, and so it just delivered a custom background for you.
Oh my
I tried for 5
gosh.
minutes to figure out the background, and we don't know why it's doing this, so
Well,
we're rolling with it.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much for being on. This is awesome. We've been looking forward to this for a long time, and appreciate you being on, Richie.
Yeah, same. I've been looking for it too. You know, we've been trying to make it work for a while, and magically here we are. So this will be super fun.
This is good. So I was joking with Drew that one of your isms or your tricks or whatever you want to call it, like that I've noticed about you that I love, is that when I listen to you on other people's podcasts, sometimes like you just disregard their question and just talk about whatever you want to talk about anyway.
Is that bad?
It's not bad at all. Like, I'm committed to being more like that, and I actually love, like, I've learned that lesson from you. And so I told you, I'm like, maybe we don't even ask Richie questions because he's just going to talk about what he wants to talk about anyways, which is great. Like, I want you to talk about what you want to talk about.
You're so funny.
So real quick for our listener. Okay, Richie is a best-selling author, has written multiple books. The two that I'm the most familiar with and that probably most people are most familiar with are The Power of Starting Something Stupid and Anti-Time Management. And Richie is a coach and an amazing mentor, and also the founder and CEO of a company called Product that helps people with getting their hands on all kinds of products and then moving them to where they're going to sell them. Is that accurate?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And yesterday we were barbecuing on the beach, and the wind blew, and it literally burned my hair. You can't see it now because it's wet. Burned my hair, burned my lip, burned my eyelashes where they're curled, okay, and burned my eyebrows. And I'm still here today.
How committed you are.
It's because, grief is a tunnel, not a cave, Richie.
There you go. You got it. You got it.
Oh, it's awesome.
Anyways.
Okay, so obviously we talk about leadership on here and how leadership is a choice, right? That anyone who decides to show up as a leader at any moment can, regardless of their title or role or experience. So share your wisdom, Richie. When it comes to leadership, you are one of the most influential and powerful leaders that I know in a really unique and meaningful way, and not in like the normal societal way. So tell us about that.
When you said leadership's a choice, Covey was a mentor of mine, Stephen Covey, and then also his son, Stephen M.R. Covey. And when they were writing what's now called The Eighth Habit, which is about finding your voice, there wasn't supposed to be an eighth habit. There just happened to be one all of a sudden. But from what I understand, they were going to call it or have it to be something around this idea, which is in there a lot, actually, that leadership's a choice, not a position. Now, in 2025, to some people, that's pretty obvious. To some people, it's still not, because some people are still living, in the century that's 25 years ago / 125 years ago. You know what I mean? So people still live in that world where they think that becoming the executive vice president means something different than the rest of everybody else might see them, which is kind of like a punch to the gut when you're 50 years old, 60 years old, and you suddenly become the executive president, vice president, director of creator slash executive, C-suite, and you go, wait, where's my respect? And you're like, no, bro, you got to earn that crap now. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? You got to earn that. You can't be hiding in your corner playing solitaire with the lights off anymore, and everyone thinks you're working like that. We called your bluff. We don't care that you're working till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night to prove to us how hard you work. Like, we'd rather see you at home at 5 o'clock hanging out with your grandkids or something like that. Like, we'd rather see that. And what's also weird is we don't have to work offices anymore. And you might say, that's not true. Elon Musk making us all go back to the office. And, the people that work with their hands have to go to the office. All I have to say about that is, because it comes up every time. And I what about Elon? And I go, Elon does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, wherever he wants. If you want to go to work at an office, you have that choice. No, you don't have to work for that company. Anyone who works for a company now knows they're going to make 30% more quitting and going to another company and getting rehired. It's just the way it works today. They don't move you up the ladder quick enough. They'd rather hire new blood and pay more over and over and over and over. So whether you're leading a team at work, or you're leading your family, or you're leading your personal life, if you were to say, like, what is leadership? And I'd say, yeah, it's a choice. You have to also say it's a mindset. Everyone's just thinking, I can't do this because. But if you think I can't do this because, you're actually super right. Congratulations on the choice you made.
On not being able to do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you made that choice. That's why when you work with people who are, you guys know this, that from all over the place, who are doing really crazy things, and you go, how'd they do that? Either they had this big vision and they went for it, or it happened incrementally. But at some point, whether it was forced upon them or they just created it out of some crazy meditation in India or something like that, wherever it came from, at some point they said, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I can do that. And as soon as they move from I didn't know to I can to I will, even if they say I try, even though Yoda says you can't say that, even if they say that, they move out of this mindset of I can't and into this realm of possibility. And in the realm of possibility, then you're really only capping yourself as far as mentality. Now, I know it doesn't always work out. Things have changed. But that's why people today are really like excited, but also frustrated, because it's not because they don't have things to do. There's too many choices, which there should be more and more and more and more. But if you can't make decisions around like your work and what you're doing, you start telling yourself over and over, I can't, because I have to ask Bob, the manager, first. Mm-hmm. That's just a terrible situation.
Yeah, that's nobody wants that.
So, Richie, if someone finds themselves in that, what's the first step? Like, how do you get out of that? How do you change? What if we have a listener that's in that right now? They're having to ask Bob, the manager, and they hate it.
Screw you, Bob. No. Okay. Let me tell you like a little story. So I was working with a client that was a lawyer for a healthcare company. He was maybe the busiest person on the team. You can imagine lawyer stuff, healthcare stuff, mix them together, and you have this really horrible situation. But he was integral to the business. And he did answer to other people above him and also below him. And he had told himself, rightly so, that he was important and that everything relied on him. And that if he didn't do it, no one else could. But if he gave it to someone else, it'd be twice as much work because they wouldn't do it as good as he would. Does that sound familiar? He got to the point where he was ready to quit, even though he was making, let's just say, multiple six figures a year. Okay. And I said, why would you quit? Your wife's going to be really sad about that, won't she? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, why would you do that? He's like, I can't handle it. I have to get out of here. Now, people think I'm always saying just be an entrepreneur, but what I'm really saying is no, just decide and realize that what you're doing is a choice. It's fine to have jobs are great. Most people have jobs, right? It's a great way to like live and grow and be, and it's definitely not easy. I think it would be way harder for me than to do what I'm doing. So there's personalities. So I'm not trying to get him to quit, but he's ready to quit. I said, before you quit, go to your boss and tell him that you're ready to quit. And just see what because if you really are this integral important person, they're not going to be like sayonara. They're going to be like, what are you talking about? And that's exactly what happened. He wanted to go do real estate, just thing he'd never really done before, like out of nowhere. And anyone listening to this might be saying, well, I'm not a lawyer. I don't work in healthcare. I don't have a boss I can talk to like that because they wouldn't listen to me and I'm not making lots of money. And I would say, just shut up. It says you need to apply it to your own life. Like, let's not be stupid here. This isn't like so specific. It doesn't apply to anybody but that guy. Like, let's stop being ridiculous. Okay. So we would have this conversation. Okay. And they said to him, wait, what do you want to do? And he explained. And I told him before, I said, what is it that you really don't like about this? Because what would have to be gone for you to stay? And he just simply said, these meetings they put me in, man, every day. I just sit there. They're awful. Nothing happens. It is the worst thing in the world. Nothing gets done. So I'll fast forward. He had this conversation. They let him just come in on Fridays. He was terrified of this. You want to know what happened? He naturally, because what happens is when you finally make a decision, you figure it out and you talk to people, you're only one conversation away from figuring something out, by the way, either in your head or with somebody else, had this conversation. I said, what happened? He said, you know what's crazy? I naturally, it's called a forcing function because you created a new environment. Naturally, these people that would be asking questions all day long, every day, or putting him into these boring meetings where he was unnecessary, they leveled up on their own because they had to fill the gap. But it wasn't like he was giving his trash to them. They felt, real corporate word here, empowered. Oh my gosh, I'm finally doing things that I studied for. Oh, wow, you're letting me make my own decisions? This is crazy. They loved what happened. And when he would come in on Fridays, he's like, Richie, you have no idea. Everyone's so respectful. They prepare things. They ask specific questions. It's not some crazy things. They know I only have a limited amount of time. So when you limit the amount of time, this is the principle, when you limit the amount of time you have to get something done, yes, Parkinson's law, but what happens is once you limit the amount of time you have to do something, you naturally become more creative. A responsible person will get more things done in less time because they figure out better, faster, also not just efficient, effective ways to do it. So now he's able to live his life. He's able to do his other things. The company's happy. He's happy. He didn't have to quit. Now, I know this isn't the same for everybody, but you have to think that way. You have to stop thinking like a calculator where you go yes or no, like input, output. You have to think like more like algebraically. How can I do this thing? This is the formula. How can I do this thing without this bad thing happening by next Tuesday? Doesn't mean you know the answer. What you did to your brain is you created space for ideas to percolate in while you're walking your dog or you're taking a shower or you're doing the dishes or you're watching Netflix. Most people never allow any space for something to just fall into it. They're too busy trying to solve for the wrong problems.
That's great. Maybe we'll just let everyone have a minute to
All right.
No, that's so good. I love it, right? Because I do think that it's easy for a lot of people to be like, well, I'm not an entrepreneur, or like, well, Richie is and Matt is and Drew is, but I'm not. And it's like, well, so I love that. Like, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to choose and decide and recognize like that it's your choice still.
Oh yeah.
It's still good.
What's crazy is I wrote a book too, in addition to the ones you mentioned, called Resumes Are Dead and What to Do About It. And it's been downloaded hundreds of thousands of times. It's pretty cool. It's a cool little, it's free. You can go get it right now. It's free. And what's crazy is one of the principles shared in there that's just seems so new to people still. I wrote this thing like over 10 years ago, it's still new to people, is that bosses want to be led. They literally hired you so they don't have to think about that crap anymore. Why are you still, I mean, I get there's permissions, I get there's respect, I get all those things, but your role, whatever position you're in, is to become the lead advisor. That's your job. If, let's be real, it depends on who you want to be. If you just want to do the quiet quitting thing that they've talked about, where you just like sit there and get your work done and go home, that's there's nothing wrong with that. Like you work in an environment that is extremely toxic. If you do more, they're going to chop your head off. Like you don't want to stick out. But if you do that, just recognize that, again, that this is a choice, that your environment, and you're going to do the quiet quitting thing. If you want more excitement and joy in your life, and you want to move up and do new things, either inside the company or out, I mean, it comes with something, before and after. So it's your responsibility to realize that your work doesn't have to be the joy that you want it to be. Your joy should come from what you're working for. So I like to say you should work from that thing that you're working for. Like, what's the goal of the goal? But in an ideal situation, yeah, your job is awesome. It fuels you. It's exciting. But that's more because you like what you do, and you're doing less of the things you don't want to do. That's a fact.
Yeah. This is just reminding me how much I've been influenced by you.
Oh yeah.
Just reminding me of everything. And so, listener, go be influenced by Richie. Like, read the books. Like, listen to his podcasts from the past. Like, it's good stuff, man.
Thanks, dude.
A couple of years ago, Matt and I spent a lot of time talking about your book, Anti-Time Management, with each other, and it probably resulted in me quitting what I was currently doing. So,
tell me what you quit and more.
I used to run large sales teams, door-to-door sales teams.
Oh, very cool.
Love the organization I was with, and the growth wasn't where I wanted, and kind of did the same thing your lawyer did, but it was like, well, this is how we do it. So I decided, well, I'm going to design my life how I want my time to be spent. And
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Let me reverse it for a second. Was it like worse or better than you thought, making that crazy transition and choice? Yeah.
Both.
Totally.
Probably, I would say, it's been the most rewarding and the most challenging thing I've ever done. So to walk away from something amazing and great and that paid well, and to feel free and start over. Yeah, it's been exciting.
People are like, aren't you scared? Like you're saying, it's like, I'm scared every day. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know we want peace and tranquility, but that can also come while we're doing scary things, trying to get to the other side of it. Otherwise, there's something about putting a stake in the ground and saying, this is what I'm going to do now. There's something about that, that just feels great. So that's
one of the eye-opening things I realized in my life, and I don't know if it was from your book, Richie, but around that time, actually Matt was my coach at the time.
Oh, wow.
And I recognized, man, I've been living my life where I'm always saying, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy when. And it's like, no, why can't you be happy now and live out what you want now and choose it, right? Kind of back to that idea of choice. So yeah, you've had a lot of influence on both me and Matt.
Well, you guys are too kind to me. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's amazing. I love it.
So Richie, I think this will be helpful for the listener to like kind of go into a little bit of a specific situation. So let's talk a little bit about this idea, because one of the things that helped me so much was your idea of project stacking. And because traditionally I found a lot of energy and excitement just having a bazillion things going on. Like, the more irons in the fire, the better.
Sure.
However, there was a lack of focus and a lack of like choosing to go all in on something. And I can see the effects of that when I was younger. And so I loved this idea of project stacking, because it's like, okay, how can I still be involved in multiple things, which I love? Like, my personality loves that. I love to be like active and engaged in different things, but they stack up and are additive instead of, distracting from one another.
That's true.
And So will you just tell us a little bit about like what that looks like in real life? And I can even share a current example I'm in right now, if that would be helpful, and we
Yeah.
can talk through it.
No. That's good. Things are going to stack up whether you like it or not, either in chaos and conflicting, or in alignment. And the alignment means that you're probably going to have to be purposeful about what you're doing. And so if you think about it this way, like this is a little scenario I like to give. Like, think about who you were 10 years ago. So literally, just to say, let's date this. This is 2015, 10 years ago. How does that feel? Were you the same person? You weren't even the same person. My hair was not long then. Okay? That happened during COVID. I didn't get my face burnt off. You know what I mean? Like, you had different goals, you had different money, you had a different family, you had different, so you have to fast forward and say, you think you want something 10 years from now in 2035. But when you get there, you will be embarrassed that you wanted those things, for better or worse. In other words, you just won't want them anymore because things changed. So if you want something in the future and you're trying to set goals and stack things or whatever it looks like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, that's cool. But if you really want it to work out, you have to become a little better at doing that future thing right now. So I say, what's the goal of the goal? Well, I have a goal to go get this job and make $1 million. You got a job, you made $1 million, or you sold something, you made $1 million. Now what? So this is where I come in and I go, let's create what I call the 4 Ps, which is like personal, professional, people, play. You write down all your different goals you want to do, but you narrow them down to 4 in those areas. So you want to be fit, and you want to have this career and this money, and you want to hang out with your wife and kids every day, or your whatever. And then you want to, like, I don't know, donate to the world or travel the world. You want to like figure out some way to like help others. If you, as far as stacking is concerned, if you just say, life is multi-purposed, I can have multiple goals, but I'm going to rescue my dreams from the end of a timeline and put them front and center so that I'm building my castle, living from the castle, and then my work becomes a moat that protects it. This circular thinking around protecting a moat is the opposite of thinking linear, where you're saying, I'm going to take 10 steps, then I'm going to get it. Because how often does taking 10 steps lead to actually getting it? Almost never is the answer. And it's almost always a zigzag if you get it at all.
Where you get there and you realize, oh, I didn't want that.
And I didn't want it at all.
Yeah.
So if you say these 4 things that I want in my life, even if the work or the job or the money or the world doesn't work out, it doesn't matter because I got what I was working for anyways right now. And so to make this real, that might look like, I have always wanted to. Okay, I'll make it real. There's too much information here, but I have, I have a son that passed away. I have a brother-in-law that lived on and off with us for five years that passed away. We had foster kids come and go. My wife had a stroke and lost her memory. I had a son get hit by a car crossing, the street. He should be dead, but he's alive. It had all these kind of things happening. The pandemic happened, this thing. So a lot of this stuff I'm talking about, especially in anti-time management, is around the idea of how can I get what I want, but also work at the same time? How can I work for what I want and create the environment and the family and the situations and things? How do I cater to all these people that they themselves might be obviously going through stuff? You notice that all those horrors I just mentioned didn't happen to me. They happened to my family around me, and I feel responsible. So sometimes, and then in addition to other things that have happened to me, right? So that's life. So the idea of stacking is saying in anti-time management, the idea is you become available in a way so that when bad things happen, you can do something about them. That's the idea. Everyone has ADHD. Everyone has depression. Everyone has anxiety. Everyone's going crazy. Now, I know it's not literal. I'm just saying that. But when you live in a world where everyone around you is in absolute chaos, what do you, even including yourself, what do? You stop managing time and you start prioritizing attention. So then you can take these 4 things that I mentioned and you can say, well, couldn't I go like I did on a 6-month-long trip across the country, which we didn't know we were going to do. We went to New York, ended up on the road, and I learned to work from my phone as I did it. So I'm project stacking with my family, learning how to work on the road from my phone. Oh, developing new businesses that are remote, deciding this is how I want to live forever, going down to Mexico, going up the coast of California and Washington, Oregon, all that, Oregon, Washington, whatever, all that stuff, Northwest, going to Canada, come back down, come back to Hawaii. How do you do that? We didn't even know we were going to stay at night. We just did it. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that in one choice. So it's almost like when you have a stack of goals or priorities, instead of them being spread out and doing one at a time and trying to or trying to do them all at a time like a crazy person, when you align them up and down, it's almost like driving one nail through the mall and just saying, I'm doing this all at the same time, because one impacts the other because they overlap. So you want to look, where is the thing where I can do something that overlaps with multiple purposes? If I can do that, can I also do this in a way? You don't have to think this way. You can go as far as you want, but you can go, can I do this in a way that I can get paid doing this thing, or get paid maybe not doing this thing, but in a way that not just allows me to do what I'm doing, but protects it. Maybe even it makes it larger and it grows. Because when somebody says they're going to leave their job, or they're going to start a job, or be an entrepreneur, or take on a new role, or take on a new job, there is not a single person on this planet Earth that doesn't also say, that's going to take up more of my time. Except for me and anybody who follows anti-time management. We say every solution creates a problem. Therefore, as a time tipper, if I take on this thing, how can I do it in a way that creates more time and freedom, right? Ask a better question, get a better answer, because your brain is smart enough to solve for whatever you ask it to solve. So if you're solving for, I'm going to do this thing, it's going to take up my time. Oh no, my spreadsheet, my calendar, my personal management doesn't have any time for me. You did that. You did that. I can do the exact same things you're doing, and free up the entire calendar, because I'm going to do it, meaning I can get the exact same outcome, but I can do it differently and free up all my time just by asking one more question. How can I do it in a way that'll free up my time and give me more personal freedom? That's it.
It's awesome. We kind of cheated today having you on the podcast. This is I'm just realizing that I'm thinking of specific examples. I've been thinking so linearly, or linearly with several things. So this is like such a good reminder to just be like, stop thinking linearly and ask a better question, get a better answer.
Yes. It's a powerful thought, and you can say, well, why am I asking $1 questions when in the same breath I could be asking $1 million questions? Why do we do that to ourselves? It's the same work.
Yeah.
To make $1, honestly, if you to make $1 right now is almost harder than making $1 million as far as like brain power and thinking about it. You're like, what's $1 million revenue? What's $1? And you go like, oh, I guess I could go like try and ask for tips or busk on, in some city and ask for dollar bills, right? Or maybe it'll take a little longer. I can go round up some people and put some deal together. You're not going to make $1 million at your job. Like, I'm sorry, you're not going to. Unless they allow you to sell something at your job as a salesperson, and I say that intentionally, sell your equity that you have. sell the stocks that you own. Like there's no money made until you sell it. Anyway, we could get more detailed into this, but like the idea is that one question, that one statement now led us into thinking, oh, you know what? You're right. I can't make $1 million at my job. Do you realize that? Therefore, I need to take my money and no investment advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Lawyers cannot get involved and buy Bitcoin. Yep. Might take some time, but like that's where it's going to be made. Potentially. What are you thinking? So you have to like think like there's this aspect of freedom, opportunity, possibility, and then you have to also, like they say in that wonderful book, Good to Great, you have to confront the brutal reality of your situation. Like this isn't going to happen here. Doesn't mean I have to quit or leave. I can work differently, but it does mean if I'm going to make it somewhere else, where and how long does that take? The essence of everything I'm saying is just stop lying to yourself. And when you do lie to yourself, make sure it's a good lie. A lie that makes you feel better about yourself, and a lie that is positive moving forward, a lie that is hopeful that you're going to do some great thing. Not these lies where you tell yourself you can't. That is unuseful.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, let's just go like one example, because I know that a lot of people when they hear this for the first time, because I remember kind of working through this, it's like, okay, I have this other thing, like a stupid idea, right? If, referencing your book, like the stupid idea that won't go away. And then it's like, okay, I could do that. And then the next thought is something like, well, you know, what if it doesn't work? Or what if I fail? Or what if it takes up more of my time? Or what if it's what if it's a mess? Or maybe we have evidence of it in the past. So yeah, what do you
So
I kind of already know the answer, but I want you to say it.
I could well, I want to hear your answer too, but I could say like, who cares, and fail forward, and it's a learning experience. That's cool. But like what I do is I pre-sell. I get letters of intent.
Beautiful.
I don't, if I'm going to guess, well then I'm also going to go ask. So I'll do surveys. We're doing, okay, so yes, I write books, but yes, I have my own businesses. Because of the books, I end up doing these things with coaching and consulting and podcasting and this whole content world. But in the background, while it looks like I'm having fun running around the beach, which I am 100% all day long. But what I'm not sharing is all the work that's happening behind the scenes with what I'm doing on my cell phone with suppliers from Europe, Asia, and across other places. I won't get into all the details right now. There is so much happening, but it's done in a way that allows me to be remote because that was a choice. Okay. So like, to answer your question, let's just say somebody wanted to get into doing what you're doing, and maybe or someone else. Like the go-to nowadays is like, oh, I'm going to do coaching and I'm going to sell a course and I'm going to do an event. Okay. Do a survey, get 100 people to fill it out, have them tell you their name, their email, a bunch of questions, including something like, it's just marketing. This is not scientific, right? It's like what made you reach out to me, or where do you want to be in 2 years, or what do you want to do? What you learn by trying to get 100 people to fill out a survey is that it's really hard. And if you think it's hard to get someone to fill out a free survey, imagine selling something. Holy crap, annoli, right? So then you start learning a little bit about marketing, about your current audience, about the platforms. And you start learning how to start, not scale, because people start scaling instead of starting, and they're scaling things that are broken. I don't even understand that. Like, why would you ever do such a thing? Just mind blowing. And then you go down this list of 100 people, and let's just say 10 or 1 of them sound like the right person to sell something to because they told you exactly what they wanted. There's no selling when they tell you what you want and you give it to them. It's just a matter of affordability on their end. And you do that 10 times, 100 times, all of a sudden you have a little business. Now you can start looking at, how do I streamline this thing? And how do I grow it or not? And especially if you're doing some kind of high ticket thing, look, there wasn't a single dollar involved in what I said. That was free. Google gave that to us. It's all Gmail crap. I didn't spend $1. That, what I just said right there has made me millions of dollars. That, literally, not figuratively. Just that. Zero cost. And we were like, well, I don't have anything to say or do. Like, are you selling auto parts? You can do the same thing selling auto parts. So pre-sale. I had a guy who said he inherited $1 million from his uncle who passed away. Who wanted to sell. He called it we called it spicy chocolate. He called it Mexican chocolate. He wanted to spend all $1 million on all a bunch of crap. And I said, dude, what are you talking about? Just Google right now, private label spicy Mexican chocolate. And he did. And he found there's a facility not too far from his house that makes chocolate, an FDA-approved facility, white glove, will box it, will do everything. I just saved him not just $1 million, I'm sure millions of dollars in buying equipment and leasing a facility and getting approvals, and 5 years of probably figuring it all out. And don't stop there, dude. Don't even do that yet. Go to the store and ask who the buyer is. The buyer won't be there. Sally's going to say it's John. Ask for Sally's card and John's card. Email John. Copy Sally. Hey, Sally told me that I need to talk to you. John, I'm looking at creating this little thing. I'm a local company. What's the best size I should be creating this box so that it fits on your shelf space the best? Because real estate is really the game in retail. And so you go like on the shelf space. So he figures that out. The dude spends $5,000 to get his stuff on the shelves. He already has people saying they're going to pay him. In fact, even putting down where possible, half now, half when he gets it, funds the whole thing, and it's done. All I'm trying to say is, like, there are so many ways to get something done without putting your money at risk or a credit card at risk or I'm not saying don't spend money and invest. You can totally do that. Lots of people have money. There's lots of ways to do it. I'm just saying, if your future customer can pay you now, then it is possible you can use those proceeds to create the product. Does not Tesla use that exact same model? Yes, they do. Do not most computer companies use that model outside of maybe Apple or something? Yes, they do. Pre-sell. Every excuse somebody gives me for something, I can give them another solution over and over and over and over. Anybody in this world could. You guys could do it all day long. But the thing is, they just don't want to. You can't. Marshall Goldsmith, the #1 executive coach who invented this whole world of executive coaching. I'm one of his 100 coaches. He'll tell you, you can't help someone who doesn't care. You got to care enough. Yeah.
I think he said on your podcast, I don't coach losers.
Did he say that? Yeah. That's so messed up. No, I'm just joking. But he says it he is full of love. He's all love, right? So he says that like in love, like
to wake you up.
Like, what are you doing? Like, what do you like? So honestly, like you have this time on Earth. Your choice.
Yeah.
It's hard. I know that people listening are like but I have this problem, and I have this problem. It's a never-ending thing. I'm not going to minimize that. I would just say, if you want to fast forward, say, well, what would you do if you didn't have that problem? Because we can get therapists and talk for 100 years. But which maybe you should, but I'm just saying, like, what if that problem didn't exist at all? What would you do? Oh, I do this. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay, good. Excellent. And then all of a sudden they realized the problem they thought they had wasn't a problem at all. That's the wild thing. Right. The wild thing is these phantom problems. It's wild.
That's amazing. Wow. Okay. So Richie, we're winding down. We have a commitment. I mostly have the commitment because of my squirrel attention span to keep podcasts relatively shorter. And Drew gives me a hard time about it. However, one of the things we like to ask people, and I'm like genuinely curious, if we didn't ask you on the podcast, I was going to text you and ask you, what right now, what does Richie Norton want? Like,
oh man,
what do you want right now?
I hate these kind of questions because I don't know how honest I should be, you know? Because I'm
We
an
can
honest
edit this.
I'm an honest person, but I don't know like what level do we go at this? But I'll tell you
You did
this. I was
did talk about lying earlier, so I
Yeah,
mean,
you lie to yourself. I'll tell you this, like right now I want to close a deal that I'm working on, that I've been working on for a while, that is bigger than anything I've ever done in my life. Just this morning, literally just an hour before we did this, I got an email with just what we were talking about. You know, in this case, it was something called proof of funds. I mean, this is big. This is big stuff. Took a long time to get there. I just want to, I want to close up, but like, who cares about that? I tell myself too, like, if I made more money or did more things, how much would my life change? What's weird is that in my actual poverty, but I say relative poverty as a privileged American, I totally get that. Don't come after me, everybody, okay? But meaning like there's no money in our bank account, married, goes to negative, you get those awful $35 fees from Wells Fargo, and then you get another $35 fee on the fee that they just took from you, and they keep doing it, and you're like, you are evil. What are you like? For years and years and years, I got to be honest, I wasn't always this way, but because of those situations we had in our lives, it made me realize that I had to choose this life without the money. So what's strange to me that I'm realizing now is that with the money and more coming, I can't say I would change anything other than spend more. And then let's be honest, support more, give more, donate more, just bigger. Obviously, the contribution and the influence and the impact, money is a real part of that. But the reason I say this is because when I started this journey of trying to just be available with my time, it's because I had the privilege of meeting millionaires and a few billionaires who were in the sunset of their lives and hated everything about it. And I realized, really, I was fortunate to realize, over 20, 25 years ago, that there's nothing sadder than a rich and famous person who's depressed. And I don't mean clinically. I mean because they don't know how to live. They have no time. And I told myself I would never let that be me. So when I say this stuff, I have never said, once you have money, you do this thing. I didn't say that once. I said you do this thing immediately. And maybe the money will come, but who cares? Yeah. So when you say, what do I want? I don't want to say I want to maintain this thing that I have, but what I really want is to scale it in a way that I can help 100 million people do the same, 1 billion people do the same, 8 billion people do the same. You say you can't. You go like, isn't everything AI doing stripping away everything robotic that humans have put into place in the last 200 years? Yes. Going like this with a hammer is a very human thing. We've been doing it for a long time, but if a robot can do it, why do humans need to do that anymore? That's just a little metaphor. But I just think of like the caveman watching his son eat on cooked fire and saying, I used to eat raw meat. And you go, Dad, why would you do that when we have fire? We have fire, man. So I just hope to spread that. I guess bring it back to the fire analogy. I hope we spread good fire, not bad fire, obviously. But I hope we spread this idea, because what's crazy, maybe I'll end with this. What's crazy is no longer can a person say, I don't have the resources. That's gone.
Yeah.
That is way gone. When someone asks me a question, I find myself saying, this is new, by the way. Did you ask ChatGPT? Because it knows frickin' everything. And if you can't find it on ChatGPT, then we should be talking about that stuff. We should be talking about the things you can't find there, the things that basically ChatGPT is a tool, not a solution. And Grok and all the other ones, right? Whatever. But that's the thing is now you can't say, I can't find a job in my city. It's like, there's no jobs in cities. There's just jobs. They're universal. So this world now has become, we're actually becoming more human and more creative. We have to. So I think these ideas, when you say, what do I want? I really want people to stop lying to themselves. I really want people to find pure joy and freedom. I'm serious, wherever they work and however they work. And I want them to realize that whatever circumstance there is, like you said, it's a tunnel, not a cave. You don't have to find meaning, that you can assign meaning. And that when I was a kid, as far as like the actual real like heart and soul of making money, because that's important, you don't have to trade your time for money. You know, I thought I had to get a job when I was a teenager. My dad told me to go to a watermelon farm and buy the irregular sized watermelons. And I made more money selling those watermelons in one day on the 4th of July than I would have working the entire summer. So when you realize there are multiple ways to do something to get the objective that you want, you score. But when you realize that it's not the goal you want, because goals from experience are not goals at all. Goals from experience are tasks. You've done it before, you idiot. Goals outside experience are growth. And those become purposes, and they become means. Never mistake means for ends. Ends are not means. They are only tools to help you get, ultimately, your time back. If you don't have your time, if you can't choose how and when, where you spend it, you've probably created a prison for yourself. Get out. Ha ha!
Well, Drew, do you have anything before we wrap up?
No, a lot of little nuggets. I'd encourage our readers or listener to dive into Richie's content. He's got a lot of great stuff. His books are amazing. I love the ask a better question, get a better answer.
Man. Thank you.
What I encourage our listener to do today.
I love you, bro. One more thing. Don't take yourself too seriously, and 100% don't take other people seriously. We're all just making it up, bro. Like, what are you even talking about? We're all just making it up, okay?
Yeah. Yes, and that being said, I mean, truly, okay, like one of the things that I don't know if our listeners have picked up on or not, but most people that know me, I really strive to live this way, that I don't just say stuff that I don't mean. I mean, I'm working, right? Like that's a choice. So what I'm about to say is real, okay? That like, dude, I mentioned this before, like you have impacted me so much. So I just want to say I'm grateful for you, man. Thank you.
That means a lot.
Thank you for not being scared. Like, thank you for not being silent. Thank you for not thinking, oh, I'm too crazy, I can't say this out loud. Or like, who's going to read my book, right?
Thank you.
You're so nice. I want the listener to hear that. Like, that's what I'm saying to them too. Yeah. That's what I'm saying to you too, listener. Like, don't be quiet. Don't be scared. Or be scared and do it anyways, right? Like, don't discount the stupid idea. Like, do it.
That's right.
And look at what it can create. Like, look how many people it can impact. And I promise you, Richie, you don't even know like 1/1000th of the people you've impacted, right? I mean, for everyone that says what I'm saying to you right now, there's 1,000 people that never reach you and say,
thank you. You're making me feel really good. I think it's gonna be the best day ever. Thank you so much.
Well, I really mean it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
So grateful for you and grateful for your time today. And
I love you, Matt, and I love you, Drew. Thank you so much. You guys are so good. This is a great interview. I really appreciate it. So much fun.
Yeah. Much love, brother.
Well, and to our listener, today's the day.
Thanks for joining us on the Everyday Leader podcast. If you're ready to take your leadership journey even further, subscribe to our weekly newsletter for more insights and practical tips. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram to stay a part of our growing community. Just follow the links in the show notes. If this episode impacted you, please help us spread the word and share the link with a friend from wherever you're listening.